These come out very similar, but one change I've made is that whenever somebody gets, for instance, a GM norm, they also get the IM title. This seems obvious, because if somebody rated 2350 gets a GM norm, they're going to say, well, this is no use, I'd much sooner have an IM title. So I've attached that. I think that's uncontroversial. The Olympiads we'll come back to. That's a totally separate issue. That comes in the regulations. The Continentals, they do, all the continental competitions do as well or slightly better out of the revised plan, except for the young children. There's a pattern here that's, I think it's generally felt the young children get titles that are rather too high. At the moment, it doesn't matter whether you're under 18 in many cases or under 8, you get the same title, and we want to change that, at least some people do. Now, the Continental, it's pretty clear, everyone is a member of a federation that is in one continent. They are entitled to play in one continental championship. So far, so good. We now have, over the years and before my time, put together different arrangements. We have ASEAN, we have Arab, we have Central American, Caribbean, Southern American, and further down in a separate place altogether we have Commonwealth. Some people are a member of none of these, so they have no such opportunities. Quite a lot are a member of one. A few are a member of two. Singapore, if I'm correct, is a member of two. I've started on the basis that anything that is not a continent is less than a continent. So it's one stage down. What to do about zones and subzones? For this purpose, I have left zones and subzones in as like any other subcontinent, even though some of them are quite small. I've been discussing with people what is the purpose even of a zone, because I think that is somewhat lost in history. Bernard, do you have any interest in your zone in Europe? Does Europe care about zones? No. Whereas in other parts of the world, zones are very important. However, whatever reason they started for, nowadays in many cases a zone seems to be an excuse for a direct title. People play in zones because they want the direct title. So if you are, I don't like to choose examples, it sounds as if I'm being critical. I'm not. Let's choose Colombia. Nothing against Colombia at all, but they are a subzone. So they can hold their national championship, and that can give norms, and if somebody gets 7 out of 9 against 2300 or 2250 opposition, they get an IM norm. Fine. Or sometimes they can call it a zonal. And now the bar is much lower, and it's a direct title. Is that logical? Frankly, I don't see why. However, I have not done anything so bold as to stop them being a subcontinent, although if anyone wants to, perhaps not this time, it can be discussed. So for the time being, they stay in as a regular subcontinent, and again...
Excuse me.
Yes?
I recall this regulation was made by the late Dr. Barrera. But when it was framed, it was meant that each time it is held, it requires the approval of the presidential board. Not a permanent subzone.
Now this is another interesting question. There are two opinions here. We're coming to this in the regulations. When it says subzonals must be approved, does it mean that the presidential board approve the existence of a subzone, and then they can hold a subzonal, or because that's what they think. They don't ask permission every time.
Where does it say sub-zone? It says subzonal. Subzonal tournament. Where does it say there's a such a thing as a subzone?
Note C below this table.
Yes, let's go there.
Which increases size.
Zonals and subzonals.
C.
See, it
Sub-
refers to
sub-
tournaments, not to zones.
Good. Well, then, I would like that very much, but it does not happen. Subzones do not seek permission to hold a subzonal.
Increases size.
Four.
I can't. I don't know how to. I'm sorry. It's been set for me.
I can help increasing the size.
Oh,
Yes,
please.
Vladimir. Yes, Christian.
As long as I can still use
I
my
remember
laptop.
the installing the subzone of the small countries in Europe. Mikko Makro was strictly against
Okay,
giving time
Not
to
more,
such,
not more.
to such
Thank you.
subzonals.
Thank you.
And this relates to the title of elite grandmaster. The FIDE failed to limit the grandmasters. We have too many grandmasters, too many international masters. We have too low limits to get the title. If we make it harder to get such titles, then we will solve our mass problem of grandmasters and international masters. But I know it is difficult to get the General Assembly to make it any harder rules, but we should achieve that. This will solve our problem.
I have a question to Nick. Nick, in your paper you wrote America. From some discussions with representatives from America, I know that they have North American championships, Southern American championships, because it's not possible to travel such a long way from Argentine up to Canada for all federations. Do you still accept South America to be a continental?
No, not while they have their Pan American, which, by the way, all of the top players do go to.
Okay.
They do succeed in
So
traveling.
if it's a South American championship, it's a subcontinent championship?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And this story that travelling is difficult
Right.
is not convincing.
And there is a,
I'd like to make a proposal.
continental
Just a
championship.
minute.
I'd like to make a proposal, a distinct proposal, that we simplify this whole thing into world, continent, zone, which allies to the people situation as well with the FIDE statutes.
So where would you put Arab?
I wouldn't have it at all, I just have zone.
Why?
World,
Okay.
continental, zone, and then let's build up from there if anybody wants to make that proposal. But if we go back to the simplest level, which corresponds to the people we have and the organisation structure we have, and if everyone agrees with that, then anybody who doesn't agree can put their hands up there.
Sivan.
Can you go on the Americas continent? We have an absolute continental that everyone either has to travel to or doesn't. There hasn't been a problem. You've had Canadians and it's in Brazil, and it's usually in South America.
I see.
Yes.
Just one remark. Can you give me the continental deck, just slightly back? This is the norm, the 9 games higher. It has a format. Just
Oh, these are
Up
the
to the
women.
international and
okay
grandmaster.
here, just the continental. No, this is higher. This grandmaster, I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still on FM.
Okay.
Yes, I apologise.
Here.
Yeah, well, they're the women.
Okay.
Okay, here we are.
Okay,
Stop.
here. You know why? I think we limit the one norm cannot be higher than 13 games, but in continental 9 games equal 20 games.
Yes, we're coming to this. That's a separate decision.
It is, you know, I think too many.
So do I.
It
And
must be 13. As
I've suggested that, but that's further on. Thank you.
because it, you know, it means three norms, maybe not full, but 3 norms really from 1.
And the final point I will make is
Instead
that
20 games must be 13 games.
um, when we go down to the very low level,
Yeah.
I would suggest that any official FIDE tournament, and I don't care if it's the Central African girls under sevens, if that is introduced, I say give them a CM title, a WCM for whoever comes first. Only one, not three, but anyone the PV approves, they can have one CM title. Why do we care? And then they should be happy.
Is there any paper for these proposals?
Yes, there are, although not for the additions that I'm talking about now.
You know, first of all, it's such an important thing to them in the agenda
It is
for all members for all the members in the
It's here.
General Assembly agenda.
Yes, it was distributed.
Oh well, I haven't even managed to get one of those.
Yes, what was in the website?
But it's
Well, this is distributed in the agenda on the website. You know, all federations should know about these important proposals.
this is not in fact a proposal. This is a talking paper which should have been discussed a year ago. So we're discussing it for the first time now. This is not a proposal.
So it will not be put to the General Assembly.
As it stands, it's far too late. But at least we're talking.
So, Nick, did you agree with the 20 games to change to 13?
Yes, when we get there, you'll find I've gone further than that.
Okay.
Frankly speaking, well, I mean, I don't know, we are talking about Latin America or Africa or Asia, I don't know. But look at the Continental Championship. Alright? The winner gets a 9-game norm in the Continental Championship. How weak is the European Continental Championship? How weak? How weak is the American Continental Championship?
Yes.
Or how weak is the Asian Continental Championship? So, if this is the guide, where the winner only gets a 9-game norm, I think it's actually very low.
Very low.
And then, here, it's only IM title. We all know, in the other 3 continents that I mentioned other than Africa, the Continental Championships today are very, very strong tournaments. Alright? So, if you move down to sub-individuals, alright, the winner also gets a GM norm as in the working paper. And the IM title and IM norm, it is, let's say, similar to this. And maybe it is higher than the zoners because the zonal champion doesn't get the GM gold, doesn't get the GM norm. So if we can move the zonal, the subcontinental individuals one more step down to 1.3, then I think the concern is less. Because you actually
I'm sorry, that last part, just so I'm sure, can you say
one
more time?
subcontinental individuals.
Yes, subcontinental
It is under
individuals.
1.2.
Yes.
Your level is 1.2, and your working paper 1.2 says level 2. It's GM norm, IM title, IM norm. Whereas in the current zonal direct titles, nobody gets GM norm unless it is a proper norm. Otherwise, you don't get a direct GM norm because you win the zonal. So you have upgraded the zonals and the...
Yes.
So, if you put it down to 1.3, then it's more consistent to... It's not
So-
higher than what is now,
So you would drop the zonals down
to
one.
1.3.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I thought people would not like it. Okay, I shall make some revisions along those lines. Now the big losers here are the various under 10s. Now in general, because an FM title is a serious title, and the thrust of my suggestion is that we shouldn't give it to so many 10-year-olds. Now I know they like it, so I don't know if that's acceptable.
I would. Yes, Dongwei.
Regarding this status of the different tournaments we are discussing, the Commonwealth Chess Championship is treated, in FIDE Constitution it is treated at par with the Continental Championships, the Commonwealth Chess Championship. However, if we agree here in Qualification Commission, then what benefit it will get is the foreign players issue. You know, we require 10 foreign title players and 20 foreign rated players. 10 foreign title issue will be sorted out. On that particular issue only we can treat Commonwealth at par with the Continental Championships. Because in FIDE, our constitution it is treated at par with Continental Championships, if we look at the rule. But in actual we don't do it. When the Commonwealth Championship is held and if the fewer title players are there, then we don't take it. So I request the Commission to look into this issue.
With the only problem with the Commonwealth is not that it is too generous or not generous enough, just that it is inconsistent with everything else.
No, you don't give the titles to the winner, but only this foreign player issue. Because what happens is, you have GMs in Canada, you have GMs in India, you have GMs in Scotland, and you have GMs in Bangladesh. The rest you don't have GMs. 1 or 2 GM might be there. So the title players becomes a problem. Since we have organized in India so many times this event, finally we incorporated it with the International Open Championship for this foreign player issue. So if this issue the Qualification Commission takes in the proper perspective, then this we don't need to incorporate it with International Open. And it will be a pure Commonwealth Championship. Only the foreign players issue in the tournament, not that the winner need not be given any title like IM or GM, this particular issue. So I request the Commission to look into this.
Can we discuss it afterwards? I'm not exactly sure what your proposal is, but I'll make a note.
Can I say that, can I think that you want to maintain this? You want to maintain this for the Commonwealth?
Yeah, Commonwealth,
This is what
yeah,
he means.
yeah. In FIDE it is there, but we don't actually take it. In our constitution it is mentioned to be treated at par with Continental Chess Championship. But in actual, we don't do it that way.
Let's go.
Right, so the effect of what we can do now is not very much.
All right.
And probably nothing. So we.
Can I recommend that we adopt this new formatting in principle, all right, and incorporate those subcontinental or continental youth events which are not yet inside. It means that this generalize everything. Like for example, now the European schools is not inside. That means this takes care of all this.
That's a good plan.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
We agree that the younger age groups, they can work harder. There is still future for them. They should aim for that rather than just this FF title at such a young age. Richard.
Apart from which title is given to which competition, I want to add 2 more important issues, which are the regulations that must be examined when we are asked to award the title. And I propose that we must examine at least that the chief arbiter is either international arbiter or FIDE arbiter. The time control is one of the accepted time controls. There are at least 8 participants in every competition. Also, we must discuss the number of countries, which we're going to do it a little bit later. And Werner always had a problem if we must award the candidate master title to 8-year-old children who are still unrated, and actually this is their first FIDE-rated competition. We do award the title to unrated children right now, and we must ask if this is correct practice or not.
I think if you go back to history, even under 20 continental champions were unrated before. There could even be zonal champions who were unrated before, but the rating floor has dropped. Of course, there will always be this under 8, under 10 who are not rated yet. But if they are getting candidate master, it is not such a pain.
Yes. The whole tournament is not rated because no player has a rating.
Yes.
Yes.
We accept.
Kevin?
I'm not.
Nick, I don't have a copy of your proposal in front of me. What's the current status of a zonal junior champion in the top division, like under 20, in your proposal?
I'm not aware of zonal junior championships.
Oh, okay, so supposing that somebody wants to introduce one, which somebody certainly does, where will that fit into your scheme?
Well, at the moment, as it fits into my scheme as a subcontinental. However, it's suggested that maybe it should be one notch lower than that.
Okay, if it was at the subcontinental notch, then what's the peak award?
For which age group?
Whatever the highest age group is it under 20 or under 18, I'm not sure.
Well, under 20 is different. The highest youth is under 18, and under 18 gets an IM norm for a gold medal, which is
IM norm for gold medal.
and of course an FM title for first equal,
FM title. And
which is on the generous side, I would say.
yes, I would say it's on the general side too. So if it goes down to the next level,
Then it's an FM title for a gold medal, CM title,
then it will be FM title, just FM title for gold medal.
and CM title for silver and bronze.
CM silver, bronze.
Kevin, can you get the details?
Kevin, same here.
Werner.
You got this
Thank you.
one?
Werner?
You got this one from Saturday?
Mr. Chairman, I think we should be careful. If a new event is created,
You can find it in the-
I think we cannot give immediately feed a title to a very new event. First, he has to be played, and then we have to look on the participants if there is a certain level.
I was coming to this because
Okay. You are right.
the Oceania's point. I think any events that has not yet taken place in the last years, and suddenly this new format covers, let's say, the region, all right, that no titles are awardable unless at least 3 editions have been completed and subject to the recommendation of the QC.
Yes, it's good.
Okay?
Good idea.
Maybe that is.
Yes, I have. We never dealt with the sub-zonal, well, zonal, but especially sub-zonal question. Does every two questions. Does every sub-zonal tournament have to be individually approved by the PB? And if so, I have to ask, will they ever say no?
I have been around, I have not heard about this since I have been around 10 years.
Well, they didn't know which the sub-zones were, which didn't help.
This is already updated in the website, and I've spoken to the Continental President for Americas, and he says that this has been going on for more than 10 years before Dr. Barrera's death, and I think it is a little bit difficult to take away something rather than give something. What we can do is what Michelle has suggested as applicable for all the other events is that for these one federation sub-zone even, right? Once they use a sub-zone, they cannot use the national championship, so they cannot have 2 bites. There is only one bite. Then I think
Per year.
per year.
Yes.
No, they can use the sub-zoner in 1 year and they use the national championship in another year. Then at least we restrain them a little. Okay. I know it's to take away something from somebody, to cut the salary from somebody is more difficult, but to give a pay rise. The other thing that we need to discuss is, I think in the Americas there are different regional youth championships. So here, do we want to limit the quantity because otherwise, maybe Asia will come with East Asia, West Asia, South Asia, subcontinental youth championship.
I wouldn't do it there because there are legitimate travel concerns there. Because you don't have just a child going, you have a child and a parent potentially going. I would not, if costs are more are higher there, I would not do that. And I think you'll stunt growing chess at that point.
Can those who are from the Americas tell us how many regional youth championships or junior championships are there?
In North America, we have Canada, U.S., Mexico, I think Bermuda, Bahamas is our group.
That's North America.
No,
That's the North America.
we've moved.
You moved.
There's
Okay.
the North American
But
youth,
Bermuda.
the South
I mean,
American
Bahamas.
youth, the Central American youth.
There are only 3.
No, there's I think there's 4 or 5 actually.
Pan American youth?
There might be the Pan American youth as well, but I don't think that one awards anything.
Oh no, Pan American
It's the whole continent.
it's the whole thing.
Ah,
Okay.
Yes.
The American Youth Chess Festivals, the regulations can be found in FIDEAmerica.com, and they divide 3 regions only, and they mention exactly which federations can participate in each region.
Right. Okay. So here again, I don't think we want to condense it. All right. There are existing 3. We tell the Americans these are the 3. Period. You cannot grow another one. Okay.
But again, we're only offering CM titles in our group.
Yeah. But still, I think we shouldn't
Yeah.
extend it. You happy? Okay. Thank you.
So, shouldn't extend it in the Americas or anywhere?
Anywhere, maximum 3. Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
per continent.
Clear continents. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Any more points to be raised here? In this? Otherwise, give Nick a little time to put this into a table form so that you can have this before the executive board meeting. For tomorrow's executive board.
Yes, it is.
Yes. General assembly. Okay.
I'm
Give Nick some time. Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's go on.
okay. Sorry, back to the agenda. So we, bottom of the first page of the agenda, we have received requests for new direct titles. The Oceania Youth, I think, falls under the chairman's suggestion of show us 3 years, which I assume cannot be done at present. Is Oceania still here?
Yes, I've got the back here.
Oh, I
It's,
apologise,
it's
yes.
it's a new event that we're trying to get off the ground.
Yes.
So without a lot of support.
Well, I take the point, but I think you heard the answer. The Pan American IBCA, do we have anyone here to speak for that?
Can we pass this to them? You know?
Yeah.
Actually, does it necessary to be even in our regulations? This history, I don't know, this part.
Well, we have.
We have not so much time at the moment, you know.
Yes, and okay, and finally, there's a misprint. The last word on the page should, of course, not be youth. It should be schools, and we dealt with that last time. Right, moving to the next page. There was going to be some contact with Cuba. That has not happened, but anyway, Michalis will be talking about the individual case. Registration of norms.
I think this is regarding the request from Russia, India about their national
But I think we dealt with those last time.
We dealt with already. We also dealt with Cuba already.
Yes,
Okay? Yeah.
and the answer is no,
last.
not anymore.
Yes, no more.
Yes. Registration of norms. I think everyone is agreed that at some point, old norms, we have to say, forget it. It's just a question of when and will it be rolling forward. there was a proposal that by the 1st of July next year, all norms more than, I may be wrong, but let's say 2 years old, have to be registered.